Now, I'm not going to say who it was. I can't do names on this one. Somebody's steer got loose. It's running down Calumet. Well, you go that way, the old fairgrounds down through there by the railroad tracks, by Rob Thorngren's down through there. And here goes this steer off down. Everybody's chasing it. So here's a pickup with 3 guys with lassos. They finally got him lassoed by Kirchhoff Park. That kid felt so bad. He walked and he loaded that steer back in a trailer. He never did come back to the fair that year.
I mean, goats would always, the pygmy goats, they're little, and the babies would always squeeze through and then just be running around the barn, and then you had to chase them and catch them.
Oh, fairgrounds was neat. We would go into the girls' building, which is the brick building that is, what do they call it? The Butterfield Pavilion. And I remember one year we went in, pigeons seemed to be able to find their way in. People would vandalize and shoot windows out. And we had to call the Valpo police to come and shoot pigeons. Because we couldn't get rid of them ourselves. So we had to call the police to come. And then we had to clean up the building after all these pigeons had been in there. And they weren't clean pigeons.
I heard of lambs walking down the Midway one morning. Somebody let a bunch of lambs out. Well, they were all grazing. They walked their way down the Midway. Brought back in. Oh my gosh. Yes, some of the animals that have gotten away.
There are kids that bring game birds, like pheasants and quail and things like that. Well, one kid brought chuckers, which is like an African partridge. And her chucker got out. Usually I'm pretty cool. I tell people, like, hey, if something happens, like while we're checking in, you could go home and maybe get another one. And so her chucker escaped, and she came and she got another one. But we ended up finding the chucker. It had flown up into the rafters of the poultry barn, and it had stayed there all 5 or 6 days. It would come down at night, drink the water from the condensation off the water lines, and then hop back up there. And it would skip rafter to rafter. And then on the day we cleaned up, it just flew out and never to be seen again.
Oh, I remember a guy that had the pheasants. And somebody walked by and accidentally bumped the cage open. All the pheasants took off. They never did catch him. 20 pheasants went loose. He's going, I gotta pay for them. He's running around trying to catch them. Oh my gosh. Well, he ain't gonna get them. No, them are out. They're breeding for us.
The exhibit building had a kid that was in the herpetology project, and a snake had escaped, and no one could find the snake. And so we would hang out in the 4-H building, and we'd talk about the snake escaping. And there was a ceiling tile in there that was cracked. And Weitzel put a fake snake up in the ceiling tile attached to a fishing line. And we tell the story about snake escaping. No, the snake has not been found. It'd scare the crap out of people because the snake would fall on them. There's just been so many funny things.
It was Master Showman, where the best out of each shows. Well, me and another guy were supposed to get pigs ready for them. So we got them in there and go, man, let's cool them off. So we were hosing them off, letting them look good. I mean, these pigs were just enjoying this bath. Nice, cool night. They come out, they're going to sign pigs. So the first one out, woof, woof, woof. Second one, woof, woof. These pigs are running around. They're feeling real good. These kids are trying to show. Judge is looking at me and going like this. I knew him. You got even. Oh my goodness, them pigs took off. They finally settled down. People were laughing. This horse girl's trying to find her pig. She's going like this. I go, the white one. It's just funny. The pig kid, he knew what to do. He knew how to settle him down. The dog person's looking at that pig like, what? It's running circles around her. Yeah, we got in trouble for that one. But I got even with the judge.
And then there's always pigs who they're trying to get them to the show arena. Because, like, goats, you can put a lead on and lead them. But the pigs, you're not doing that. And then they'll just get away from people. And then they're just, like, out. And everybody's got to team up and corral them back in. That happens so much. It doesn't happen as much with birds. I have had showing chickens. I'll have a chicken on the judging table. And then it will just fly off. And, like, you have to go catch it in the barn. But that became so standard to, like, just show up and have to chase an animal down that it's like, oh, this is just part of our day. Like, yeah. So it happened a lot.
switched them around. They looked a lot like, you could tell it was the ear tag. I switched the pigs around. I got dared. I was like 10 years old. They dared me. My old man was not happy. They were then it was their dad.
Yeah.
Or hide their pig in a washer rack. Did that before. I remember a guy switching everybody's cows around. He had them one night. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. We went out there and switched cattle all over. Because they all on ties. So.
Yeah.
And they had outside ties at night, so you tie them up outside and we were switching them around. In the morning, everybody's looking for. Luckily, I wasn't there in the morning. I'd do chores.
Now, I remember when some of the police officers that worked the fair, Johnny Schultz and John Kane and Bill Black and stuff like that, it was a lot different because they were on foot all the time. But all three of those knew my mom, so I had to behave. Yeah, because they moms know everything. If you think you're not going to get caught, mom's already found out that you're thinking that.
Every time we got in trouble, wouldn't say it was trouble, but there was, this is again like my first or second year or something, we had the lumberjacks come as a free entertainment exhibit, and they had a pool where they would put these logs on there, and they'd have a guy stand on the log and run on it in the pool and stay in place. Well, it was at night, and everyone had left except for some people in the sheep barn. And this one mom, she was Hannah Knobloch's mom. She's since passed from cancer. She was the nicest woman. And she was like, hey, let's go get in the pool. And it was like, I'm a kid. And my mom's like, yeah, let's go. So like my mom and all these other moms take all of these other kids. And we get in the lumberjack pool in the middle of the night. And we're like splashing around or whatever. The cops show up. And they flash a flashlight on us and like, what are you doing in the pool? And this lady, Mrs. Knobloch, comes up and she makes up something. I lost my wedding ring, and they're all helping me search for it in the bottom of the pool. And they're like, all right, well, once you find it, get out. And it's like, okay. So we found it, we hopped out, and we didn't, nothing ever came of it. And it's like, holy cow, how did we get away with that?
Yeah.
We just had 10 people in this pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun one.